Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is finally Friday, Fierce Female Friday, April 26th, and welcome to another episode of Style by Stevie. Our very special guest is no stranger to the dollhouse. I think this will be our fifth interview. We've done so many in the past already, and I'm excited to have him back to catch up with him so that we can see what he's been up to in the year 24. So without further ado, Fashion Dolls, let's welcome our very special guest, multi-award winning singer and songwriter, Stephen Voice. There we are.
Hello, hello.
Perfect.
Hold on. Let me try and fix this so it's better. There we go. That's better. Hold on. Is this better?
Thank you, Aquino. Y'all like my nails? Everything is blue. I had to channel the fifth element of beauty, and
I,
that is
I
water.
love it.
So this season, thank you. Thank you so much, y'all. Thank y'all. It's great to be back. So, Steven, it's great to have you back. I think this is what, number five? We've done five so far for the
Is it
record.
5, 6? I don't even know anymore.
I think so. I've lost count
I
too.
stopped counting at this point. Well, thank you for
So,
having me back. I'm super grateful.
yes, I'm glad to have you back. I know we can't keep him long, ladies and gentlemen. Multi-award winning singer and songwriter. Now, let's get into it. What have you been up to? Because we did our last interview closing out the year 2023.
Yep.
We're now in 24.
Yep.
So, how has 24 been for you so far?
Oh man, 24 has been interesting. Well, let's see. It's a funny story because I ended 2023 on such a high. So many amazing things happened last year, and then 2024 it hit. And for some reason, at the beginning of the year, when it came to my music, I got into my head because I was just like, how can I do better than what I did last year? And I got stuck in my mind because of that. And for a couple of weeks, I was just stressing out because I was just like, oh my God, here's 2024. It's a new year. I need to show people something new, and I was just worried I couldn't live up to myself. The moment I allowed myself to go, you know what, you have it in you to do whatever it is you want to do. Let it go. Give yourself time to marinate. Is the moment that everything just kind of came out of me, and like the beginning of a whole new chapter began. So 2024 has been an enlightening year in the sense that I've learned that sometimes you need to just allow yourself to take a breather and
Yes.
relax, let go so you can come back stronger, because when you're so stressed out about trying to do better than what you did yesterday, often enough you start tripping on your own feet.
Absolutely. And the same for me. It's been like 2024 for me has been like a year of awakening
Mm,
and so much more. It's more enlightenment. And it's also taught me to be patient and let things come to me. You guys know that I just hit my 600th interview this week, and we were going to do it Monday, but things came up. And unfortunately, I kept saying to myself, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's either going to happen Friday with Steven or it's either going to happen with Eze. And it happened this week. So I'm super excited, you guys. Just an overall new journey, a new outlook on life. And everybody was asking me after the 600th interview, what is going to be next?
yeah,
Stay tuned. That's what I'm going to say.
I
Stay
love
tuned.
that.
I have
I
some
love that.
things up my sleeve. I love to keep people wondering, the
Y-
suspense. I know people are
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. Well, congrats on 600 episodes. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me that you would get here. You're such a passionate and compassionate being, and you're very just engaging. So there's a reason why, like, it's become a tradition for me to come on your podcast. So, like, I'm very happy that you've gotten there.
And it happened. Now, speaking of goals, your album, The Emancipation of Eze, is out
Yeah,
right now on all platforms.
yeah,
So, with this coming out, Coachella is already happening as we speak. So many award shows, music festivals, and things that are going to be going on during the summer months. When can we expect some performances? And are you ready to hit the stage? Because I'm pretty sure you're going to be hitting the
yeah,
stage
yeah.
performing at these festivals and so many
Yeah,
things.
so I mean, so like the emancipation of Izzy, and then the extended version came out like in the end. Well, the first version came out in June 2023, and then the extended version came
Yeah.
out in October 2024. So I mean, I recently completed my 2024 album called the Audio Shock Therapist, which I sent to you because you had to be one of the first people to listen to
Yes.
it. And that's gonna come out in June. I've decided to make June because June is my birth month. I'm born on June 4th, and I decided to make June my release month because I want to. Gemini season. Let me own it. Let me own my season. So I'm owning Gemini season. When I release like big projects, I'm gonna have them come out in June. So June is gonna come out the Audio Shock Therapist, and yeah, so I've been so fixated on just working on that. And now that it's done, it's about to be released. Now my mind can move towards like shows and performances. So luckily, I have a very fantastic publicist, Kalika Hastings, who's been handling all of that. But I can't wait to hit the stage because with all the new material and the old material combined together, I feel like I have a pretty solid performance like that I can put together.
Aquino says, well, any Geminis in the audience, y'all watching? I'm reading the
Hey.
comments. And Alan Yankee, 2024 has taught me that everything the devil knows about you, you taught him by what you said out loud and how you responded to the
Yeah.
circumstances. And I'm going to add on to what my fraternal just said. There's always going to be a force of evil. There's always going to be someone that is going to try to knock you off of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish at a
Mhm.
certain point or pinnacle in your life. And me and my mom just had a heart to heart. You guys know that I'm very, very close to my mother. I said it all the time. There's not enough Harry and Winston, Tiffany's, and Jacob and Cole's, any diamonds that can't replace the love that my mother has given to me unconditionally.
I love that.
She has raised me to be a fiercely outspoken, independent woman. And you guys see that every single episode. So for me, my mom is just the biggest blessing because we have conversations all outside of the platform. Me and my mom, we talk just like anybody else. And she's always encouraged me to go after whatever it is that your heart desires is. My
Yeah.
brother chose to go into the military. I chose to go to beauty school and fashion. So what I love about my mom is that she allowed each and every one of us to have our own path to navigate whatever it is the field. So to add on to that, but we've each individual relative, we've all had our obstacles and
Yeah.
whatever it is that we were trying to pursue. Like my brother went into the military. He's just like, okay, what's next? What is going to be next? For me, after graduating high school, getting my cosmetology license, what's next?
Yeah.
And for me, I said I always wanted to host a talk show. Worked in a hair salon, and then I said, okay, now it's time for me to close this chapter and start my own thing. And that's how Style by Stevie was formed. Right after high school. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything getting into it. And I've had people that doubted me. So to tie into what Alan Yankee says, there's always going to be people that are going to try to doubt you or put you down. And those are the people that you just don't even worry about them. And I
Yeah.
had this conversation with my friend Rickett Taylor too. And Stephen, we talked about this the
Yeah.
last time too you were here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Fashion Dolls, do we have any questions for Stephen? Now I want to ask your thoughts on the new album.
Okay. Yeah.
But before we do that, Beyonce, Cowboy Carter, we'll talk about that because I've been asking a lot of artists. But Akino, she has a question for you. Are you an independent artist? And if so, how did you get started?
It's a good question. Yes, I am. I am independent, and it's by choice. Um, when I first started on this music journey, I was like every other artist that starts out, where my mind, especially back then, everyone was like the only way to make it in the industry was to like get signed by a label, and that's the only way. Like that's the path, is to submit your demos to a label, have the labels go like, we like this, come in, and then like get signed, and that was the
Mm,
path. That's what I thought I wanted. And as I navigated through that, and I did get signed to a label, I quickly realized that it's not what I wanted. It's not how I wanted my career. I wanted to have the independence to be the creative person that I am. And I just noticed that whenever I tied myself down to people who had some sort of control in my career, there was always like a need to try to fit me into a box that, and as a creative that I am, I don't want to be put in a box. Like, I don't want to be told, sing only these kind of songs, sound like this, dress like this, blah, 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 blah. I don't want that. I want to be able to be all that I am. And I felt that the only way I could do that was as an independent artist. And yes, it might be harder because you are financing yourself, you're doing all of these things on your own. You have to be your own motivator. But I think for me, at the end of the day, it made me that much more. That made me that stronger as an artist. I'm not here to throw shade at any artist that's signed. If that's the path you want to take, absolutely go for it. But for me, it made me stronger. And I think it's important that you kind of find out what it is that you want. Like, I don't think there's any set path set in stone that, every person has to follow. There's no blueprints to life that is going to work for every person universally. There's always going to be your blueprint, like what it is that works for you. So I think the most important thing out of any person's career is to take a moment to ask yourself what you want. And the only way to find out what you want is to jump in there and kind of try different things. And then kind of like life, really, at the end of the day, like you kind of figure out what you want out of life by trying different things and seeing what resonates and what doesn't resonate. But I think the only blueprints that you can take out of anything in life is to listen to yourself, because you always know better than anyone knows about who you are and what you want to achieve. So how did I get started? I didn't even answer that question. I got started, honest. I mean, I was wanted to make music for such a long time. I grew up in a household that listened to Michael Jackson. We've talked about this many, many times. But it's only when my mom passed away and I turned to music as a way to save myself from a very, very dark place. And that's how my music journey began. Because I was just recording songs to make myself not feel the pain and anger that I was feeling towards the world. And when I decided to share it on platforms like SoundCloud and things like that, I had people reach out to me saying that my music helped them feel like they weren't alone. And I think that's at that moment where I realized that music was something that was a lot more than just something I could do, but it was something that I could share with others, and I could help me connect with them and help them connect with me and help us all feel a little less alone. So my career was unfortunately, was born out of pain, but I molded that pain into something that made me stronger. And I'm here today as the artist I am today because of that story.
And that's how I met Stephen.
Yeah.
Listening to his music. Summer Lust was the first song that I told
Yeah.
you when we first exchanged information, Summer Lust. And then years later on, we did our second interview. You gave us The Emancipation of Eze, and then you gave us Scream.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay. And we touched on this week with Ezen. We talked about artists being categorized and put into a box.
Yeah.
And one artist who I always compare you to, I'll never stop comparing you to him, is Prince.
Take
Prince
that.
did not conform to labels. Prince didn't even, he started his own company. He's just like, okay, I'm an artist. My work speaks for itself. So why should I have to put myself in a category of this? And that's the same thing that happened with Whitney Houston as well,
Yeah.
too. They didn't know what genre to put. I mean, it was hard for her to, shall we say in music terms, cross over.
Yeah.
And that's an issue that a lot of Black artists predominantly have. It's like, okay, I want to garner all audiences, but I don't want to lose the audience that I have. Crossing over. So we're gonna get into Cowboy Carter. Alan Yankee, Cowboy Carter was made to get, do you think Cowboy Carter was made to get approval from the white audience because she will always lose album of the year to them? That is a deep conversation. So, Stephen, your thoughts from the artist
I
standpoint?
don't know Cowboy Carter. Could someone give me some backstory and then I'll be able to answer it?
Okay, Cowboy Carter, Beyonce, when she did the first act for Renaissance Act 1 was more so like a techno, if you like house music, like
Mm,
Crystal Water, Robin S. Who's another one? CC
mm,
Peniston. Those are the queens of house music.
yeah.
So dance, electronica, pop. You've never really seen Black women do it except for the Black women that I've named, which is Crystal Waters, CC Peniston, Robin S. Sybil, just to name a few. It was very few. Sort of like disco, electro. That's what the first one was. The second one, Cowboy Carter, is country.
Yeah.
So a lot of audiences, predominantly white radio stations, are not wanting to play her music because they don't consider Beyonce as a country music artist.
Uh,
And Smokey Robinson, who is one of the greats, he said this in an interview. She should be able to do whatever genre of music she wants to, and not be put in a box or labeled.
yeah.
This is something that she's passionate about. She eats this, she breathes this, she sleeps this. All she knows is music. And one of her bandmates from Destiny's Child, Latoya Luckett, even said it too. There will be days when every of the other girls in the group will be out there playing. Beyonce will be right there in the car writing.
Yeah.
She said right there in the car writing her music. She eats this, she sleeps this, and she breathes this. And I think Beyonce is one of the most innovative artists of all time. For her to be able to cross over, she said, "This is not a country album. This is a Beyonce album." And
Yeah.
for her to infuse blends of hip hop and a little bit of pop, you hardly ever see black artists do that. So
Yeah.
now with this album out, we're seeing the rise of black country artists. Almost every music genre black artists created, from rock and roll
Yeah.
to blues to R&B. Uh, these are categories that black artists created. So the problem that we're having right now is crossing over. And Stephen, me and you touched on this in our first
Yeah.
interview or second interview, I want to say.
Yeah. I don't see what I don't see why it's a problem for anyone to create music that they resonate with. You know, especially as long as you pay homage to the source, like where it came from. Like one of my favorite artists, apart from Michael Jackson and also Prince, and we was talking about this, is Eminem. Eminem is a white artist that dominates the rap genre. Like he dominates the rap genre, and he always pays homage to the legends that created the genre that inspired him. So for me, it's like if you're paying homage to work to the source material, then music is music. Like you just like you feel something. Plus, I think Beyonce wasn't she born in Nashville, Tennessee? Wasn't Isn't that where she was born? Was she born in Tennessee? I
Houston
forget.
Tech.
He was there. You go. So there you go. So cowboy roots are already in her. So it's just like I really hate when we try so hard to segregate and tell people like you have to fit in this box. Oh, you're black. Oh, you do R&B. You can only do R. If you want to do pop, you have to do urban pop or like R&B pop, but you can't be pop. Like you can be whatever you want. Like that's just the way I feel. Like when I create music, I'm not sitting down going like, "Oh, I'm a black artist, so I better stick to R&B." Like no, I'm doing whatever feels right. And in this new project that I'm going to be putting out, there are some rock elements in it, and like nothing stops me from doing that. So like I don't get the fuss about Beyonce or a black artist doing country. Like
Or
people
crossing
are
over.
or crossover, like who cares? Like who cares? People are trying to express themselves creatively. I just don't understand when we see hate from people going like, "Oh, you cannot be doing this." Who says what you can and can't do? Why are we trying to put ourselves in these boxes and labels? Live and let live. It's just the way I live my life. It's just live and let live. No, if no one is hurting you and they're not hurting themselves, then live and let live. So I'm happy to see. Also, you've been seeing more and more black artists also doing more rock, which I think is really
Oh yeah.
cool. And like you said, like listen, rock music is initially a black genre of music anyway. But like, why are we taking or telling people what they can and can't do? That'll always be something that is strange to me. And if you are going to be doing a genre of music that is from a for me, it always boils down to do you pay homage to where the art comes from? Like, do you pay homage? Like, sometimes you see certain people and from certain groups do certain things, and they get notoriety and like visibility because of it, and they don't show any like appreciation for where they got it from. They just kind of try and own it like they created it. That's where I always have a problem. But if you show appreciation and you show like, hey, I was inspired by such and such, then by all means. So that's just the way I live. I live my life. Live your life. Create as you want to create. Live your best, and that's all.
I love what Alan Yankee just says. People will always starve when you refuse to eat new things.
Hmm.
Every artist, whenever they put out a different album, the sound is going to sound different.
Hmm.
Like with Stevens' albums, the very first one, as I mentioned, Summer Lust, and then you go on to the Emancipation of Eze, and in the second part of the Emancipation of Eze. So you get different elements of an artist. That's just like Janet Jackson, and you guys know that I'm a big Janet fan. Her first album, what was it? The very first album that she had when she came out. And then she went on and she gave us what? Rhythm Nation. The
Hmm.
sound was completely different than anything else any other artist was doing at that time. And then she gave us what? Control. The sounds are different. Then she gave us the Janet album, which was a more, how can I say it, more sultry, more
Yeah,
sexual
Source
side
Central
of her.
album. Yeah,
And then she gave us the Velvet Rope, where she took sexuality to a whole nother level. So every artist, Rihanna is another one. She's always reinventing herself. Even though people have been begging her for R9, please give us another album. If you go back and you look at some of her previous albums, from Good Girl Gone Bad to when she first came out, her debut album, and then she gave us Rated R.
yeah,
Rated R was more so like a dark, cathartic in a way,
yeah,
but she was going through some things. And if you listen to the songs carefully, if you listen to an artist's songs, you get a better idea
yeah,
of what the artist is saying or
yeah,
try the message that they're trying to get out. So that is very, very important to take heed to that. Every artist is not going to stay the same. That's just like with me. One day I might have black hair. I posted a picture with pink hair. Y'all, that shocked y'all because you didn't know I had pink hair. Then one day I had green hair. So I'm always changing up. You got to reinvent yourself in this business, not just in the fashion world, but in the music world, because every artist is looking for something this that'll be like, okay, what can I grab? What can grab my audience? What can
yeah,
reel them in and make them wonder? Beyonce caught your attention with that artwork, didn't she? Because she was topless. That's just like the Janet album. If you go and you look at the back cover of Janet's album, you'll see her belly button and the jeans.
yeah.
So it's about imagery. It's about things that draw attention. And hey, ABC, thank you, Jenny. So we are here with Stephen Boyce, and we are talking about artists being put into a box. That is the part of the conversation that we're on right
Yeah.
now about different artists transitioning. Even for Michael Jackson, Michael
Yep.
Jackson gave us Off the Wall, and then he gave us
Yep.
Thriller, and then he gave us what? Blood on the Dance Floor,
Yep.
Dangerous. Every single album, you see the artist transition into a different period. Like, okay, I want to do art, I want to do pop, I want to do R&B, I want to do gospel, I want to do
Yep.
this. So you're seeing it firsthand. So the next part, the project is coming out this
Yes.
time in June. You're
Yeah.
going to be working on music festivals. I'm keeping track of the time here because we can't keep Steven
Don't stress.
Fashion Dolls. Do you guys have
Don't
any more?
don't stress. Don't stress. I'm enjoying myself. Don't stress. Don't stress. The world can wait.
I don't know if she's still here. Very special shout outs to ABC Applebonnet Chronicles doing the Lord's work. Please make sure y'all go and check her out. Amazing platform. And she brings light to a lot of things. So definitely go and check ABC out. Um, Questions, Fashion Dolls, musically, what are you guys looking forward to in 2024? Because there's a blossom of a lot of new artists that are coming up. Now that Beyonce has opened Pandora's box with this
Yeah.
Cowboy Carter album, we are now seeing the rise of country music artists that are black. And it's just like when they came out, my God, wow, I didn't know it was others than just Mickey Guyton. And then the writers. Beyonce hired all black
Hmm.
writers for this project. For this project, she hired all black writers.
That's awesome. I just love
And
I love this. I love seeing the world open up, and it's unfortunate that there's unfortunately when people are trying to change and grow, there's always going to be pushback. But
oh yeah,
you have to stay the course because if not, if you let people push you back into the box they want to put you in, and someone actually said it really well here. Hold on, it was Island Yankee said people will try to box you because they suffer from PTSD because their fears box them, and that's so true. A lot of people will try to box you into something or deter you from doing something because they weren't able to succeed at that thing or they weren't able to break past a certain mold. And so they think, well, it's not possible, and they don't want to see you succeed because if you succeed, it means that it was possible, and they just weren't able to do it. But listen, like I'm a firm believer that all things, if you truly want something, you'll find a way to make it happen. So yeah, don't let people box you in. That's been a very important lesson in my career. Is just is having been around people that have tried to box me in. That is something that I will never, ever, ever, ever let in my circle ever again, because I want to feel the full extent of what I'm capable of, and I can only do that if I'm allowed to be untethered creatively.
ABC. ABC, you still here? She says, K Michelle, I'm waiting on a country album from K Michelle. And that's another thing. K Michelle is one of those artists that's multifaceted. She can do gospel, she can do R&B, and she can do country music. Because she said she wanted to do country music. Originally, that's what she was doing. So again, we're seeing a lot of artists say, hey, I don't want to just do this genre of music. I want to do this genre of music. Another one of my favorite singers, and I feel like she doesn't get enough just to what she just did, the Color Purple, Fantasia.
Mm.
Fantasia and me and my girlfriend, a good girlfriend of mine, we were having a conversation about Fantasia and her vocal range. I said she can do gospel and R&B. So you got a gift like that. Whitney Houston, a lot of artists start off in the church. The Queen
Mhm.
of Soul, Aretha Franklin, all of them start off in the church. Patti LaBelle is another one. They all start off in the church. So to be able to do gospel and then go on over, okay, I want to do secular, as they would say in the church, secular music or R&B music. So we're seeing that shift.
Yeah.
Artists are saying, don't put me in a box. Let me do whatever music I want to do. And then
Yeah.
I heard Lenny Kravitz. You remind me a little bit of Lenny too,
Ah,
Stephen.
yeah.
Lenny is another one that does not like to be put in a
Yeah.
box or like being labeled as, okay, this artist and this artist. But Prince took that very
Yeah.
serious. People are married and find me times people will make it happen if they want to. Right. And the thing is, let artists be great. The thing we should be paying attention as listeners is to the message in their music. Don't
Yeah.
worry so much about the genre, but listen to the message
Yeah.
in their music.
And
And
and as artists, sometimes the kind of song you make is because you that's the song style that needed to help you amplify your message. Like sometimes just as you're creating, the song speaks for itself, and you need to like let something out, and you just naturally gravitate to something. Like I know that when I create, I don't think. I'm not going like, oh, this is gonna be an R&B song. This is gonna be a pop song. It's gonna be a rap song. I don't think about that. I just create. I just create. And honestly, it's after I've created and the music comes out that people tell me like, oh, what a great R&B song. What a great pop song. What a great blah song. And I'm just like, I didn't even see it like that. When I'm uploading my music to the different platforms and ask you what genre is your project, that's the first time in my creative journey that I have to stop and think, what genre is this? Because I don't think about that. So yeah, like I just think create. I love that's why I used to love Michael Jackson's albums, because they were everything, like they were here one second, then they were there another place another second. And I think that's the beauty of creating, is like when you as the artist, you are the center stone, so it doesn't matter how you convey your message, because you at the core are there. And I just wish more and more artists would allow themselves to do that, because we see, unfortunately, as we see more artists trying to embrace different styles, we also see a lot of artists that feel they need to like pigeonhole themselves into boxes. And so you have a lot of artists that have every single song sound like the exact same song, to the point that you can't differentiate one from another. And that's because they're being told that the only way for an audience to accept you is if they feel that like you're not changing things. And I beg to differ. I think people embrace you more when they feel that you're a real human being, and real human beings have depth.
And I'm gonna read some of you guys' comments, the viewers that are watching. ABC says, "I want more R&B from the '90s. It's nothing like old school R&B." You said
Touche.
Tyrese in October, London, and I said this in one of my previous interviews. I want more and more artists. Yes, it's okay to do it with the backup track when you're performing on stage, but I would like more artists to incorporate live instruments.
Yeah.
And the only people that I can think of that do it, of course, Alicia Keys with the piano, and then you've got her. Her plays the guitar. So I mean, I would love to see more and more artists incorporate live bands and instruments into their performances. And Alan Yankee just said something. I want the music to be timeless and not. Yeah, I think technology has definitely changed the way the music industry is, because now we've got where you can stream the albums now versus, remember when you guys could go on Walmart and you could put on the headphones
Yeah.
and you could scan the album and listen to whatever track you wanted to, and you'd be able to skip. They took them out of there. They're no longer 8 tracks. What's another one? Vinyls. I know people are still collecting vinyls.
Yeah.
Vinyls are still the thing. Erica Badu when yes, she's another one. She's another one that plays live right then
Yeah,
and there. And we've seen her play
yeah,
instruments. And even though she's a gospel singer, I've seen her play live the same and sound just like the record in the music video. And that's
yeah,
Angie Wine.
yeah,
CC Wine is Sister Angie.
yeah.
So I mean a
But you know,
lot
like,
of artists do that.
yeah, I feel like the artists that when they perform live and you feel like, oh my, this sounds like the recording. It's listen again, no shade to artists that use autotune, but when your performance for like depends 100% on autotune, you take something away. Like for me, when I'm recording, if I feel like the take just isn't there, I'm gonna re-record it and re-record it and re-record it until I get it exactly the way I want. But unfortunately, a lot of artists still just we're at the point where a lot of artists just record one take, and even if it's like not vocally sound, they'll just throw auto tune on top of it and be like, ah. But like I feel like you rob yourself of the ability to grow as an artist because of that, because you're not learning. Like, and you're not learning that when it comes to performing live, you're not going to sound like yourself because you yourself can't sing your own song. Like, so like for me, it's super important. And whenever, and because I also produce as an artist, I also produce other artists. And whenever artists work with me, the first thing I tell them is we're not using autotune. So like if you're used to using autotune, it's not gonna happen. Like we're gonna record until the recording is perfect, like the way it's supposed to be. And if listen, if once you get to that point of perfection, and I say perfection, there's no such thing as perfection, but once you get to that point where we're just like, yes, this is it. If there's a small tiny thing that you want to fix, okay, sure, we'll use autotune because at that point, like like the take is exactly where you want to be. But if you just want to one take something and it doesn't sound good and you want to throw autotune on top of it, I am not the person to work with, because with me, we're going to do things over and over and over again.
I'm reading you guys' comments. ABC said exactly what I was thinking. The microphone needs to be on. And you know who else said that? Coco from SWV. I'm going to tell you what she said in a minute. And let me see. Vinyl. Yes, a lot of people are buying vinyl. They do need to have the artist release them. Definitely. And Alan Yankee says, nowadays you have to have talent. You have to have talent, have a talent. You just need a look and popularity. Whereas back in the day, this is what Coco from SWV said. When the girls got signed, when SWV got signed, they had to sing live a cappella. No
Yeah.
music, nothing. Because when the whole Milli Vanilli, if you guys know, you know. Y'all know about Milli Vanilli. But they had to sing live with the record execs in order to get that record deal. So this auto-tune, this was way before auto-tuning even
Yeah.
came into the. We're now in a day and age where music and technology, AI, people are able to use your voice and all sorts of stuff. It's crazy how different the music industry has changed
Yeah.
versus way back when, where we could get cassettes and then we could get the CD out, CD disc as well too.
Yeah.
So we're now in a day and age where you're able to stream and listen to the music that way. And it's just like, okay, auto tune or no auto tune, and you're able to nick and do all of these things to the artist's voice in the studio.
Yeah.
T-Pain used auto tune, but he can really sing. Yeah,
Yeah. But see,
yeah.
that's true. Exactly. So T-Pain, with someone like T-Pain was a creative choice. Like
Mm-hmm.
T-Pain wasn't using autotune because he depends on it. It was a creative choice because he wanted that sound. What unfortunately came out of that is a lot of artists who need autotune to sound good, not and not allowing themselves the opportunity to do something until they get good at it. It's just like, ah. But then, like you said, when you go live and you suddenly perform and you cannot sing your own song unless someone throws autotune on your mic. Like for me, I'm just like, I mean, that just defeats the purpose. It just, for me anyway, like for me, it defeats the purpose. Like I said, I'm not throwing shit at anyone. Everyone, you want to work, you want to create, you want to create. We live in a world where you should be able to do whatever it is that you want. All I know is when people work with me, I want to bring the best out of them from
Mm.
their own creative ability, and that for me means allowing yourself to do something until you get it right, as opposed to like doing it one time and be like, meh, like so. So yeah, it's super important for me to not use autotune when I'm recording, and you know what I find really sad is a lot of times when people find out that I don't use autotune, they're almost like, that's how, wow, like how is that even possible, like I'm supposed to be the outlier, Like that's the rarity. Like I don't think that should be the rarity. I feel like it should be like, of course you don't use autotune, you're a singer, you know. But like, unfortunately, we're at the point where a lot of artists are just using autotune that it's becoming so commonplace that no one that people see you sing without autotune and they think that that's the talent. That like the fact that you're not using autotune is like this mind blowing thing, and I don't think it should be.
Okay, let me read this question. This is from Alan Yankee. Alan Yankee wants to know, why do you think that people need to label themselves as the gay artist? Isn't that boxing yourself in? Mm.
Oh man, that's. I mean, listen, I can't really. I always find it weird speaking for people when I don't experience when I don't experience it myself. Like the same way as like, and when a white person tries to tell a black person what racism is, and you're just like, do tell, please tell me what it is, you know. Like so, I can't speak for anyone, but like if someone feels that that's what they it's like for me it's like when people will say like, oh, I don't understand the whole point for like wanting to have black superheroes or superheroes, it doesn't matter. And then but like a black kid is like, I want to see myself, like
Representation.
I want to feel represented. So like the reason I don't, as in, I'm not here to say the reason why someone labels themselves as a gay artist, because I'm not gay, so I can't speak for that. But what I can say is that like when you live in a world that is so that where you feel oppressed for so long. As okay, I'm gonna speak as a black artist now. I'm gonna use that as I'm gonna say as a black artist. The reason why I'm like I'm a black artist is because we live in a world that tends to oppress so many people that you need to fight back by saying like, I deserve to be here as a black artist. Like you're not, it's not that you know you don't that you are an artist, that you're not taking that away, but like sometimes you need to emphasize who you are so people see you, because you're so used to not being seen. And unfortunately, when people are oppressed, sometimes the only way to get visibility is to like put it in your face, like this is who I am. And it's unfortunate that we live in this world where people have to like to make you like, listen, can you not see me? But it's the realities. Some people are just are just are pushed aside, and at some point you got to say enough is enough. Like I don't, why am I being pushed aside? And I can say that
Absolutely.
I can't, again, I can't speak from certain perspectives, but I can speak from as a black person. I can, and we can speak on that. Like I'm a black person, and I've experienced racism. I've experienced oppression. I've experienced people like choosing the white person versus me. I've experienced someone telling me like, oh, you know, going to a radio station with a very pop song and being told like, oh, I can't play this song because it's a urban song, and it's just like reasons for people to like just box you in and tell you like you can't advance because you are black or you are this and you are that. And you, at some point you go like, no, I deserve to be here. I'm a black artist and I deserve to be here. So I'm speaking from that perspective. So I hope that answers your question. I can't answer it from from another person's POV, but I can reel it into my perspective.
And I'm going to touch on that as well too. There's a lot of artists back in the day. Where, I give you an example. Melissa Etheridge is one. Tracy Chapman, for Pete's sake, when she performed at the Grammys this year, oh my gosh, she looked amazing. These are Michelle Indiglio cello. And then years later, you had Lil Nas X, Saucy Santana, all of these LGBT artists that are coming out and saying, hey, I'm here too. But it goes
Yeah.
back to Stephen's point, which is oppression.
Yeah.
And what did I say about Beyonce? Certain radio stations did not want to play her music because they don't consider her as a country artist.
Yeah.
And I can tell you what that is deeply rooted in. It is deeply rooted in racism, which
Yeah.
Steven said he's endured here. And I'm pretty sure a lot of artists that are in this industry have been told, no, you can't sit at this table. This table is not for you. You need to go to this genre,
Yeah.
go to hip hop or R&B. But
Yeah.
black artists are just saying, hey, I'm here. I have talent. I can do whatever genre I please. I can do gospel. I can do classical. When I did my interview with 112, one of the members of 112, Mike surprised me because he said that he didn't like, he said he likes rock, heavy metal, and then he said classical. I would have thought he would have said
Yeah.
gospel. But see,
Yeah.
that was my misconception about it. So when you make misconceptions about a person or you put them in a certain box, you're categorizing that specific artist. And the
Yeah.
thing is, let artists feel free to expand and express how they are freely.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, artists couldn't come out and say, hey, I'm an openly gay artist. Now it's time, it's liberation. Nowadays it's liberating to say, hey, I too am represented here in this selection of music. And
Yeah.
this person is speaking for me also too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what it is.
As
Representation.
yeah, as a, I mean, I could again go back to as a black artist, I just remember there were so many points where I was brought in front of certain people in the industry, and I have my music, and then they tell you like, like we can't include you because of such and such reason, and because of such and such reason, then reason, and then you start to believe, oh, I guess I'm just not good enough. Like you really start to believe like, I guess I'm just not good enough, and then you get to the point where you realize it had nothing to do with your talent. It had everything to do with the color of your skin, your whatever, whatever the case is. But all of these things, they throw so much doubt into who you are until you realize what's really happening. So yeah, when someone says I'm a black artist, I'm a gay artist, I'm a this, I'm a that, is because they're saying like, listen, like,
I'm here
enough.
too, right?
Yeah, you ain't gotta. It's like, why is it that you only want a certain you only want certain people to win, people that look like you, but you don't want anyone else to win? That has to stop. Like, I want to live in a world. You know what? I want to even live in the world where corporations don't have to say things like, "Oh, we hired like 30%, minority, and so we're doing the good things." Like, no, I want to live in a world where people hire because people have the right skills, and they don't need to like create quotas, and they don't have to put out a press release because they hired like a black person this month and they're a clap on the back. Like, I want to get to the point where people just do the right thing and don't need to feel applauded for doing the right thing because they're just doing the right thing. But until we get there, people have to start screaming like, "Hey, I'm here too."
Now I'm gonna take some more. It is 4:45 fashion goals. So I'm gonna take some more comments real quick, and then we're gonna cut it short because I can't keep Steven.
We you know
Or
we can
I'll
we, we
probably
can
take
we can
one.
go to 5. We can go to 5 p.m. Let's do it. We can go to 5. I made some calls before this, so we can go to 5.
Okay, all right. Well, let's continue on because you guys are so engaged in the conversation. We'll continue on with the music discussion. Let me see what my girl ABC says. She says, when you listen, I love what she said. She says, when you listen to all types of music, it really opens you up.
Yeah,
And as an artist, you're not limited. Now, Alex Yankee
100.
asked a very powerful question. He said, do you think it's racism or absurd power to keep you outside looking in?
Oh man, it's a mix of both, because
Low.
for you to try to close people off, it's absurd power, and for you to close people off of a specific group, then you're also segregating. So like, if you're pushing out black people or people that are of a certain, like, ethnic background, then that is racist. So if you have the power to do that on that level without scrutiny, that is absurd power, and it's also racist. So for me, it's not one or the other. It's abuse of power, on top of having racial connotations on top of it.
And we know the deep story. The deeper, if you go back and you look at the deeper history of country music, they didn't want black faces of the face as the face of country music. Even I've watched the Jimi Hendrix film. Andre 3000 played Jimi Hendrix, and I've seen a little bit of what he had to go through behind the scenes, being a black rock, being a black artist, getting
Yeah.
into the rock and roll music industry. And another artist, and even though, because she danced, she did art, she did theater, she did all of the, she was very talented. Josephine
Hmm.
Baker, all the way back to Josephine Baker, the racism that she had to endure. Certain showrunners didn't. I mean, as a back in the day, they wouldn't refer to her as a black woman; they referred to her as a colored woman.
Hmm.
And when she went into certain establishments, her talent, she was talented. White audiences, black audiences, everybody came to see her. There wasn't a seat in the house. The seats were all sold out to see this woman dance and perform. And she gave everything.
Hmm.
But she endured racism behind the scenes as well, too. So it happens it's been going on since the 1940s, where a black artist been saying, hey, I'm here, I'm represented too. And I just want to let you know that I have talent, I can sing. My color should not define my talent.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So even now, is what's so crazy is it is still now going on in 2024,
Yeah.
and a lot of black artists are saying we just want to be represented
Yeah.
too. And I knew when Beyonce performed at the CMT Awards, I, because I've never seen it. I've never seen a black artist perform there. It's been typically, yeah, we've never seen any black artist perform there for her. But for me to see it, it was groundbreaking. But to know what she had to endure behind the scenes, it's just like, okay, now I understand.
Yeah.
Now I get it. In my opinion, let me read Alan Yankee's comment. In my opinion, I think it's segregation because probably one of the only thing they feel like they own. But listen, let's keep it real. Black artists are the creators of every genre of music. And that's country, that's rock and roll, that's rhythm and blues, that's pop, that's jazz, that's hip hop. Clear that we are the inventors of the culture. You can't erase that. And for them to try to erase it and say, well, no, this artist needs to be performing in this category of music and not this category. Go back in time and look at the history.
Hmm.
I mean, Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis, Mahalia Jackson, all of these are great artists. And I'm only 30 years old, so how do I know? Because my dad would have me listening to these artists. And then the artists that I would listen to growing up, because I'm a 90s baby, I'm telling my age, I just told you I'm 30. I'd be listening to I'd be listening to Tony Braxton. I'd be listening to Michael. I'd be listening to Janet. I'd be listening to uh, Shantae Moore. All of these different artists. But he said, no, 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 no. Let me take you back to Motown. Let me tell you about these black artists who paved the way. Martha and the Vandellas. Let me tell you about Diana Ross and the Supremes. Smokey Robinson. Let me tell you about Chubby Checker. All of these black artists that were out in the 1940s and 50s were out in the time where music was just like Alan Yankee said in the comments, it was segregated.
Hmm.
And then years later to come, you see black artists emerge on the scene in the 90s. As I mentioned, the Tonys and the Janets and the Michaels and the Shantays and all of these amazing artists. And it still baffles me that in the music industry, there's still racism.
Hmm.
And black artists are now pushing back. We're now pushing back and what I like to call the age of liberation, where black artists are saying, hey, we're here in this category. And as it pertains, I'm gonna go back to Alan Yankee's comment earlier about Beyonce not winning Album of the Year. If you go back to 1998, it was Lauryn Hill for the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I think she was the first. So these, what can I say? Ugh, what's another word for award show? It came back to me. I lost it. um, oh my God. These
Yeah.
establishments, that's the word.
Yeah.
These establishments, they only want to notify certain artists that they feel are right for the category. And I'm just like, there's so many artists out here that are talented
Yeah.
that can be nominated for Album of the Year that are of color. And that is an excellent point.
Yeah.
The only black artist that I know of that has won Album of the Year was Lauryn Hill for Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And I have that album on repeat. That is one of my favorite
Yeah.
albums. But a black woman has never taken home except for her.
Yeah.
But it's an excellent point. There is racism in the music
Yeah.
industry. And Aquino made an excellent point in the comments too. She says, go right back to the 70s, the 60s, and way back. Before I got on to the 90s of the Tony Braxtons and the En Vogues and the Shantae Moores, Johnny Gills, and New Editions. You go all the way back to the Motown era. Mayonnaise Carnivals is
Oh
those.
no. Oh no. Oh no. Ah.
The
But
audience
it
will let you know their true, honest thoughts. I'm
yeah,
sorry,
but
Stephen. You.
no, but it's unfortunate. The truth is like there's so much just like blocking and at some point you just start it's frustrating because you're passionate about something and you love to do something and then you're just met with the politics of it, and a lot of the politics is based on hate and just separation and a need to like block you out, and it can deter, it can deter you and make you go like, this is not for me, I'm not good enough for this. And but like, I know me as an artist, I fought back and I stuck with it, and I stuck with it. For every single door that closed, I said, no, okay, you're gonna close that door, I'm gonna make my own door, I'm gonna make my own door, I'm gonna make my own door. But there's so many other artists that are just as talented, and maybe even more so, that like just stopped. They stopped because they got tired. And I think we're just at the point where we're like, no more stopping, no more saying, okay, I guess so. Like, no, like, no, 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 no. Let's call it what it is. Like, we deserve to be here just like everyone else deserves to be here. And so like, we're gonna put our feet down and stand our ground and show the world that like, we're here. And that's why I'm this in a world with social media where we now have the ability to show ourselves where we didn't have that before. It's so important for us to keep on showing up every day and being like, here we are, here we are.
What's sad is that the black people that is up there with the white people in the industry are just as bad. You're gonna be your own, sometimes your own kind that are in power in these positions. And that's why I chose when I started my platform, I do everything independently.
Mhm.
And do what you do. If you want to sign with the label, do what you do. But I've seen what happens to artists when they've signed. Some of them sign with certain labels. But the thing is, if you're doing this independently, you have full range, full creative control. You know exactly what you're going for in your vision and everything. So shout outs to all of the independent artists out there. And even for me, as that pertains to creating my platform, Style by Stevie, I said I want to do something on my own
Yeah,
terms, unapologetically,
yeah,
where artists can have a platform where they can speak freely on whatever it is, music, and give people insight on what they can expect as going into the music industry or
yeah,
being an independent artist.
yeah,
I want to pass empty and not full. No gifts are going in the grave with me. Mm. As are you talking about black artists? Because that has happened. Where I mean, we've lost some greats in the music industry. Michael Jackson, of course, Sam
yeah.
Cooke, Aretha Franklin.
Prince.
Um, yes, so many.
Yeah, yeah. No, we have to keep showing up. It's our duty, and that's why I'm always forever grateful to you, because I keep saying, it's platforms like this that give us a voice, that amplify our voice, and that are in there in the trenches with us, going like, no, like, we have to support one another. That's why, like, I really hate it when I see black artists, go at each other's throats, like,
Yeah,
and I'm just like, God, I just feel like sometimes that message is just the wrong message to put forward. I just feel like, no, like, we really need to be united, because we have enough things pushed up against us for us to now go out, at each other. So like, that's just my opinion on that kind of stuff.
I agree. I agree. And the odds are against us. We can all win in this together.
Yeah,
So we're seeing a lot of black artists in an age what I like to call liberation, where people are saying, hey, we're not going to tolerate this. If we're black artists or we're woman artists, if we're a man artist, or we're whatever artist, we're here too. We
yeah,
want to be represented and you can't exclude us.
yeah,
And that's what happens as it pertains to black voices.
yeah.
And he's even happened to another one of my favorite singers, Billie Holiday.
Hmm.
She's another one of the great. So we've seen everything that she's had to go through and endure in this music industry. Certain radio stations didn't want to play her music, and
Yeah,
that has happened. If you've seen Lady Sings the Blues with Diana Ross, you know what she's had to endure. It's a scene in that film, in that particular film, where the radio station put a soap commercial. She was supposed to be performing, and they put a soap commercial for her. Yep, but they didn't play her music. They didn't want her on there.
yeah. That's crazy. That is
So
crazy.
yeah, it happens to a lot of black artists. And
Yeah.
it is almost 5 o'clock. Fashion Dolls, we're still going.
And so
Um,
it's like, I don't want to leave. It's like every time we have a conversation, I just want to call all my meetings afterwards and be like, "Hey guys, I really love y'all, but I don't want to come right now because I'm having a great conversation."
Amir Du says they tried to scandal it. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
as I mentioned, Josephine Baker.
Yep. Yep. I,
She was singing about the injustice. Yes, Strange Fruit. And
and I,
she's another artist, female artist who did not. She resisted. She was about
yeah.
liberation.
And I feel like
Josephine Baker.
that's what we see a lot is people that stand for something, that stand for truth, that stand for justice, that stand for equality. They tend to get used as examples to, you know, their names are destroyed, their who they are put into question, and it just kind of stops anyone else from wanting to like say something and you know, so like no, but like I think we're at a point where it's just like no, enough is enough. We're all just saying no. Like we're all just saying no. And I love seeing that so many people are united on this from different cultures, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different sexual orientations. People are just saying enough is enough. We need to
Yeah.
stop because the world, I'll always say this, the world is beautiful, that much more beautiful when we embrace our differences as opposed to like use them to like push ourselves apart because it's very true. Like divided we fall. Like, and that's just the way it is. Divided, we will fall because we're easy to like just knock off the chessboard.
Amir Du says after we pass, they want to praise us for our contribution.
Hmm.
And that's the sad part. And you said with Josephine Baker, she had to go overseas to receive the love she didn't receive in the USA. Another artist did that. Nina Simone. Nina Simone said,
Yep.
okay, hey, when they control your voice, they will control your comfort. They will try to control your comfort. Exactly. Right. Don't give people their flowers after they depart. Give them to their while they're
They're
here.
here.
Exactly. Another artist, and even though she was an actress, like I could go on listening to artists all day who experienced racism.
Mm,
Eartha Kitt.
mm,
Eartha Kitt is another one. And she opened up about her daughter opened up about, oh, she black. That's the thing with a lot of black artists. If they get into the business, oh, they sound black enough? Are they black? I mean, again, crossing over.
yep. Yep. Yep.
Any more questions, Fashion Dolls? Do we have any more questions? This conversation is so good, and you guys are
Yeah, it's super.
engaged.
It's a very engaging conversation. It really is, and it's a very important one. And I love seeing the community just like talking about it. Like we need more of that. Definitely do.
Yes, Etta James is another one too. Cadillac Records, if you guys seen the film. It's so sad that it's still going on in 2024.
Yep.
And that artists that are now in these establishments, like you've got the Grammys, the Billboard Music Awards, so many of these high prestige establishments, and barely black artists are getting any recognition.
Yep.
And that's the sad part about it.
Yep. Yeah. R.I.P.
Yes,
Left
rest
Eye.
in peace.
Yeah.
Yes. Which reminds me, today is T-Boz's birthday. So,
Oh yes,
y'all,
snap.
happy birthday to
Happy
T-Boz and Carol
birthday,
Burnett.
T-Boz. Yeah.
Love the conversation. Dinah Watch, that's another artist, Marcus. Yes. You guys are naming the artist. I don't even
You
have to say it. You've done the work,
ain't
you've
got,
done the research.
they
You've
doing the
looked.
research. They doing it. They doing it.
I recommend that Stephen comes back Fridays, two Fridays out of the month.
I love that. I love this. No, this is a great. I really love this. I really, really love this conversation. I'm very grateful to be part of it. Honestly, the it's funny because the more I've been in the industry and the more I've put up with, and honestly, even this year, and we'll talk about this maybe next time. I dealt with a whole Spotify fiasco with one of my albums was taken down temporarily for like streaming fraud, and I had to fight back against that to get it back up. Like it was just like unnecessary stress that was just thrown in my world. But I fought. I fought. Like I saw it happen to other artists, and all the artists just kind of folded and were just like, you know, like they were just like, oh, it's bigger than us. And I was just like, no. I blasted them. I used my social media to be like, this is what's happening. I did the due diligence. I did my research. I got my music back up. But it's just unfortunate that like these are the kind of things that we have to put up with, and it's just like why do we have to? And I'm not just talking about like as black artists here. I'm talking about like independent artists as well. Just like artists that are already fighting to get seen and heard because unfortunately it's harder for us as independent artists, but yet you're pushing that much, you're pushing, you're working for it, and then you get shut down by all these like ridiculous things, and then it's easy to just fold. And I've just learned in my career that you don't fold, you keep fighting, because the second you fold, you set a precedence for this behavior to keep happening, and it happens to everyone else. So I put it on, I put up on myself, and I said like I just want to keep fighting for this, not just get my music back up, but also to send a message that like we as independent artists aren't shouldn't just be like flicked off. Like we are here, and like we work hard, and this is our livelihood, and it can't just be shut down just because without justification. So the more I'm in this industry and the more I put up with these kind of things every once in a while, actually not every once in a while, a lot, you put up with these kind of things, you realize that how important your voice is, and how important it is for you to keep moving forward. Because as you keep moving forward, you inspire others to keep moving forward as well, until we get to a point where that our momentum just cannot be denied. It just cannot be denied. We keep moving forward.
Let me read some more of you guys' comments. Marcus, hey Marcus. Marcus said, just came in. Stephen, are you interested in acting?
Acting, well, yeah, actually, I've been acting. I began my acting journey in 2018. Well, I'm watching was signed to an acting agency, and I got a few roles. One of them was the bold type, which is really cool. But I actually, after when the pandemic hits, I put acting to the backside so I can focus more on my music. But I think this year I'm gonna start bringing that back, but actually not less on. The more I've been in this entertainment industry, I realize I love to create. I don't want to just be like, I don't want to just read someone's words. Like I like to create. So like I'm getting more and more into just even just the filmmaking aspect of it, and like writing my own scripts. I've done a few of those already. So like, yeah, I love acting. I love film. I love music. I love all forms of creativity where you get to express yourself. For me, music will always be like the core that is me, but that won't stop me from like dabbling in other things, because what's the point? Like we said before about different music genres. Why lock yourself in a box when you can truly spread your wings and just
Exactly.
experience it all?
My dog is out there going crazy, y'all. Don't mind him. My I know why he's going crazy, because my nephew is here. I won't get to see him until after this interview. I have something for you. Can we have a conversation about it? And it's more than just reading lines. That is from Marcus.
Let's do it. Let's do it. DM me. Let's talk about it. See, and this is what I love. This is what happens when you get blessed to be on platforms like this with open-minded people like you, because you will attract open-minded people, and that's how connections are made. So again, massive thank you to you. I keep saying whenever I have a new project, you're one of the first people, and I think there's of the people I always send my music to before anyone else's. There's like three people, and you're one of them. It's like I don't even think about it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna message like, hey, it's album about to come out in like 2 months. What do you think? So I just appreciate you for that. I really do.
And you've got some of your students in here. Malike says, keep on going, Stephen. You are making beautiful music. And Zamira says, the mentor is mentoring.
Ah,
Hashtag go Stephen.
I appreciate that. And they're such wonderful people. I'm really, really great. Also, I've been blessed to be surrounded by some really amazing souls, and like that. And sometimes when I feel tired and exhausted by all of it, they remind me, and then they support and they push me back up. So a massive shout out to this community that we know we're a part of. There's just blessed souls. And Amadeus, I hope I always pronounce your name, Amadeus. Um, Another amazing person, very inspirational person. I'm not sure if you've ever had him on your show. Have you had him on your show? If not,
No.
you really do. Very talented being on multidisciplined. I think you guys will have a great conversation. So I know if you guys can connect, I think it'll be worth it.
Definitely. Let me know on our days. And Aquino says, I think a lot of artists left LA too because of the BS that is going on. And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, a lot of artists want bigger opportunities. If you
Hmm.
are independent artist, it's going to be more challenging because you're doing it all on your own.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed so many independent artists, and it's just like, okay, I want something different. I want to do something different other than just being signed to that label. Hi, Alyssa. Oh, we see a lot of artists coming in here.
I love this. I really
Oh,
do.
you left LA too, Malike. Change of scenery.
Yeah.
Change of scenery.
Also start his own radio show, which is also awesome. Like I'm telling you, it's just this a wonderful community of people just rising up and taking control of their own scenarios, as opposed to waiting for someone else to try to prop them up and tell them like, oh, whatever, whatever. Like, no, I got this. I guess it's like I feel like we're at the point where like a lot of creators and people that have been oppressed for so long are just saying like, nah, I'm good. Like when they try to come out and be like, "Hey, can I help you now?" You're like, "Nah, you didn't help me then, so you don't have to help me now. It's good." It's like it's all good.
Fashion dolls. Are you guys enjoying the conversation? Do y'all want more with Steven? Because I would love to bring him back. Do we have any last minute questions or thoughts before we wrap up Fashion Dolls? Because this conversation, I hope a lot of you is the artists, because I've seen so many artists come in here,
Yeah.
actors, filmmakers, so many of you come in and just engage in the conversation. One thing I want people to take away from this is that the time is now. This is your time. If you are wanting to pursue a career in the music industry, go after whatever it is that sets
Mhm.
your soul on fire. And I tell y'all that all the time. Don't wait too late. If you are a singer, if you are a songwriter, and you are writing music, and you're not sure about going to a label, there's so many outlets out here that can help you if you are looking to get into the music business, unsung, behind the music. There's books, there's knowledge, there's vocal coaches. There's so many people out here that can help you. And even actors, if they're doing Broadway or theater, they even have vocal coaches.
Mhm.
So it's never too late for you to go after whatever it is that sets your soul on fire. And as far as being an independent artist, doing it on your own, it's hi Shay Shay. I'm seeing y'all all come in. Uh, as far as doing it on your own, it's gonna take a lot. Yeah, you're gonna have to spend some money out of your pocket because you're paying for those sessions, you're recording, you're writing, you're mastering, but it is so worth it. And that is to anybody who wants to be an independent artist. It's
Mhm.
your choice if you want to be an independent artist, if you want to sign to a label. But just know that if you sign to a label, keep in mind, however, let me tell you something. Your creative vision, you're going to have to go by some of what their creative vision is. You'll have some input, but I'd rather have full range and full creative control independent, knowing that this is me. If I didn't put it out there, it's not mine. You'll know if I put it out there. So my advice to anybody who's doing anything independently, do it on your own.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the conversation. Loves the advice. The time is now. That's an amazing mantra to apply.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm reading what Alan Yankee's saying. Boo, I don't like him. Just kidding. He is the Canadian Luda.
You know, it's funny. Like, I went to a conference late last year, and Luda was performing at that conference. I was not. I was there, and everyone there when I walked in thought I was Luda, and I was just like, I know we have a resemblance. I want to meet Ludacris one day and be like, are we related? Like, let's do a test. Like, is there a relation? But it'd be hilarious. Like, everyone was just like, oh my god, that's not Luda. I was like, nah, it's not. We should go check out my music though.
There's a very canny resemblance. Do you guys have any more questions? So many amazing artists, so many amazing actors. You guys are creatives yourself. Shay
Yeah,
Shay just came here. She's an actress. Um, so many of you guys. Thank y'all all so much for just enjoying the conversation.
yeah.
Shay Shay said she was just gonna say that.
It's the truth. I can't deny it. I cannot. I cannot deny it. I can't be like, nah, I don't see it. Like, no, no, even I see it. Even
There
I
is
see it.
a
Yeah,
resemblance.
yeah, yeah. Listen, I'm not complaining. Ludacris is a good looking person, so like, hey, listen, we all good.
Fashion dolls, do you guys have any last minute questions for myself or Steven? This was such a refreshing conversation. Conversating with you is always
Yeah.
an amazing time.
Uh,
And like Alan Yankee said, I'd love to have you back on again. This project that is coming out in June, I cannot
yes.
wait.
The
And I got the first advanced copy of it, so I'm excited.
yeah,
That's why I didn't say anything. I'm like, I'm letting him announce it.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
put it out there.
No, listen, you have carte blanche. You can talk about all you want, but yes, the audio shock therapist comes out June. I'm like I said, I want to do. I actually want to do it on my birthday specifically, June 4th. I want to release it on my birthday on June 4th. So that's the plan. We're working on all the pre-release media, all the post-release media, the cover art right now. All that's being worked on. I'm very excited for this project, just because of what it was born from, and what it evolved into. Because like I said at the beginning of of this podcast, like it was born initially out of fear of not knowing if I could match what I did last year, and then finally going like, you know what, I'm gonna release those thoughts. I don't need those. I'm just gonna take a break and enjoy myself, and just accept the fact that I got this. And the moment I did that, the first song was born. Like this, like the second I let go, my brain created the first song called Radio Vibes, which is one of the singles off the project. So like that's why I called it the audio shock therapist. I'm the therapist in the that I'm referring to is not me. For me, it's the music. Music is my audio shock therapist, and
Mm.
music shocked me back into reality by reminding me of what it is that I am. So yeah, the audio shock therapist comes out in June, tentatively June 4th.
All right, fashion dolls, y'all got that date? Um, Before we go, Aquino said the same thing basically that I was saying. She said, Stephen, you remind me of Lenny Kravitz.
A a gotta love Lenny. Also, not a good looking person. So again, listen, I am taking these as full on compliments. Full on compliments. I wish I had Lenny's abs though. I'm working on that. Like I'm working on that. I don't know how that man is doing it, but like I am trying so hard. I'm working on it. I like, you know what the problem is? I like chocolate chip cookies too much. That's my problem.
I mean, he was in that. Y'all seen the video of him in the gym where he was just, it was
Yeah.
nothing. These big weights, and he's sitting there laid out for taking his legs and doing the. I'm like,
You know. I know, Lenny. Hopefully, you know, one of my goals is to eventually do a song with Lenny Kravitz. I think that'd be super cool. I would love to do a
like
song with Lenny Kravitz.
y'all's auras, y'all's vibes would
Right?
click.
I think so too. I think so too. Maybe you know, I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen because we're putting it out there.
Any more questions, comments, fashion dolls? Did y'all enjoy the music conversation? It's always a pleasure having Steve in here because this is our, I think, number five,
Number
four
five,
or five.
yeah, yeah, and then soon number six. We know we're gonna have number
It's
six.
gonna be more.
We know it's gonna be number six, and it's gonna probably be in like October. We're
Welcome if you're just coming in, fashion dolls. So before I see we don't have any other questions, comments, and yes,
Ah,
y'all want
ah.
another one? Okay, let's etch it in stone. All right. So before we wrap up, fashion dolls, and I send you guys on your way, Stephen, are there any gems that you would like to leave with the audience? Because they enjoyed it. They both enjoyed our conversation today about music. We got deep and in depth on music today.
I think it's just this is continue to have these discords and be part of communities that want change and want to grow and evolve, and just keep that mind for openness just constantly like moving. And I mean, I th- this this session, well, this podcast today, and just seeing the way the community just interacted with it is a beautiful reminder that there is still hope in this world, that we can,
Yes.
that there is beauty in us coming together because we're all moving towards something. So I think this time around, you taught me a lesson. You reminded me of the beauty of this world that sometimes we forget is there, and that is we can come together. So the gem this time around is you being giving it to me. So thank you for that.
And I appreciate it. And I hope you guys all took something from today's conversation as well, too, whether it's about music, owning your own individuality, not being labeled or put into a box, which is a thing that happens with a lot of artists.
Yeah,
So I hope you all took something today from today's conversation. And today's final thought comes from Dolly Parton. She says this: if you don't like the road you're walking on, start paving another. Sometimes you have to go from worse to a better situation. And
yeah,
even though you're going to have obstacles in your way that are going to be blocking you, you don't let those obstacles stop you from whatever it is that you are trying to get towards. If you are trying to have a career in the music industry, go after it. There's so many classes, schools, vocal coaches, so many people. Stephen would even be able to help you. So
yeah,
many artists out here who are wanting to get into the music business, but they don't know where to go, where to begin, where do I start? You got to start somewhere. And think about it. Back in the day, it was what? Star Search. Y'all remember Star Search? And now we got American Idol and all of these platforms where it's millions of people in the world, lots of people in the world who wants to become a singer because singing is what they know. So if singing is something that you want to do, you go for it. And I tell y'all this all the time. Go for whatever it is that sets your soul on fire. I'm a
yeah,
Scorpio. I dare people to say, "Oh well, she can't do it." I've always been that way. My mama would tell you. I might have to bring my mom on here with me and do the show with y'all one day if y'all
yes,
would like.
we would.
And she would tell y'all. Ever since I was 8 years old, I've always had a fire inside of me to go whatever it is that I wanted to do. I always wanted to do hair, but hosting a talk show came later down the line. It took a lot of work, a lot of skill. So if this is something that you want to do, there are so many people out here that can help you. Don't be too, how can I say it? Don't get such a big head where you're afraid to ask people for help.
Yeah,
And that's the thing in the business. Ask someone for help. That's why they're there. We're now in a day and age where people are afraid. They want to do it. It's like catch. I gotta catch up. I gotta catch up. But the thing is, ask
yeah,
someone who's skilled or experienced in this field. There's so many artists out here, and I've sat with so many music artists on this platform. I I can't remember all of their names. Charge it to my heart, y'all. But talk to people. The resources are there. There's so many out here. So create your own path. If you're doing this independently, continue on
yeah,
independently. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be roadblocks. It's not going to start off easy, but continue on and follow your heart's desires. And that is the final thought of the day, Fashion Dolls. So, Stephen, the album comes out in June. You
June,
said June 4th.
June.
So,
One thing before you go, ATO Worldwide just joined. Another person I hope you guys connect with. Amazing artist, amazing voice actor. He does the best Joker I've ever heard. He sounds exactly like Mark Hamill. I'm just saying, you guys need to connect. And I just want to say that that's it.
oh, definitely. If you're interested in coming on the show, let me know. And Amir Deuce, I got you back with that follow. And Stephen, where can everyone follow you? And of course, Stephen's EP, the album is out right now, The Emancipation of Eze, Part 1 and then Part 2. They're out right now on all platforms. So where
Yeah.
can everyone follow you and check out your music?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Instagram is like my hub. I love Instagram because I feel like there's so much you can do here. Is in my opinion, the best place to connect with others. So Instagram, follow me on Instagram. And I mean, I post everything and that I'm working on here. So if you want to keep up with all the crazy things that my life and journeys takes me to, this is the place to do it.
All right, Fashion Dolls, there you have it. And we will see you guys closing out next week. We have Damian Hanson Hall who will be joining me next week on Style by Stevie, closing out this month of April. And we'll see you then, Fashion Dolls. The May lineup will be coming out soon as well too. So we'll drop it that Tuesday. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And this interview will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. Stevie will be tagged, so you can click that link and you can go check out all of the music. It is there, the albums are there, and it will be saved here on IGTV. So head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube if you have not. And thank y'all so much for the love and support. 600, this will be 601 interview. So thank you so much. And Stephen, always a pleasure seeing you and chatting with you.
Thank you. And again, thank you for having me. I'm super grateful. And yeah, I just feel complete now. So thank you for this, for helping me close out the week so wonderfully.
You are so welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I love you all, and I will see you guys next week. Take care, everyone. Hmm.